Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a massive constitutional battle over the very heart of how Johannesburg's local government operates. It's this classic, incredibly fascinating clash. We're talking about weighing two huge priorities against each other, the ideal of inclusive democracy on one side and the absolute urgent need for government efficiency on the other. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the core conflict. Then, we'll break down the rules of the game, explore the majority ruling from the Constitutional Court, and finally, we'll unpack the dissenting opinion. Section 1. The core conflict. The Democratic Alliance versus the Mayor of Johannesburg. Let's set the scene. So, we've got to start with the central question that this entire case literally hinges on. Is a committee of the mayor legally considered a committee of the council? Now, I know that might sound like a minor technicality, but actually the answer to this one single question dictates exactly who gets a seat at the table of power. Let's look at the two sides here. You have the Democratic Alliance, which was the main opposition party in Johannesburg at the time, arguing that minority party representation is legally required on the mayoral committee. But then, on the flip side, you have Executive Mayor Amos Masando, representing the ANC majority, arguing that the mayoral committee is basically his personal executive team, and because of that, it's exempt from minority representation rules. Both sides actually make a lot of logical sense when you think about how a city should be run. Section 2. The rules of the game. Unpacking the Constitution and Structures Act, to figure out who's right, we have to look at the rules.
Okay, so the crucial puzzle piece here is Section 160, subsection 8 of the Constitution. This clause specifically mandates that members of a municipal council are entitled to participate in its committees in a way that allows parties and interests to be fairly represented. It's an absolutely vital guarantee to make sure minority voices are heard in local governance. If the mayoral committee is technically a committee of the council, well, then the mayor is constitutionally bound to include the opposition. No way around it.
You might be wondering, why does this matter quite so much? Well, Section 152 of the Constitution spells out the objects of local government. Yes, a municipality has to provide democratic and accountable government, but it also has to ensure the provision of services in a sustainable manner, promote social and economic development, maintain a safe and healthy environment, and encourage community involvement. You see, local government isn't about some distant national policy. It's about your water, your electricity, getting your trash picked up, having safe streets. It's where government literally hits home. So getting this executive structure right, the stakes are incredibly high. Section 3. The majority ruling. Deputy Chief Justice Longa's verdict. Let's see what the Constitutional Court decided. The majority's ruling actually hinged on this really fascinating legal distinction inside the Municipal Structures Act. See, the Act allows for different types of local government setups. You've got the executive committee system, where power is delegated to a committee collectively, that strictly requires proportional minority representation. But Johannesburg uses what's called an executive mayoral system. Under this system, executive power goes to a single person, the mayor, who then appoints their own committee to help out. The majority ruled that under this specific single mayor setup, proportional representation just isn't legally required for that committee. Deputy Chief Justice Longa's logic here was highly practical. He reasoned that the mayoral committee simply isn't a council committee. Its primary job is to personally assist the mayor. Plus, the mayor is the one held directly accountable to the council for everything. If you force a multi-party committee onto the mayor, you're going to blur those lines of accountability. Think about it. If things go wrong, who do you blame? The mayor? The opposition members? The court made the point that while democracy is crucial, efficiency and actual service delivery are just as vital to the community. Deputy Chief Justice Longa put it perfectly, saying, "The primary function of the mayoral committee is not concerned with the deliberative process, but with rendering assistance to the mayor in the exercise of his or her authority. This is with a view to ensuring efficient and effective government at local government level." He's clearly prioritizing the urgent need for a streamlined, cohesive team that can just get things done efficiently. And we definitely should mention Justice Sachs's really nuanced concurring opinion here. He acknowledged the historical need for inclusive democracy for sure, but he balanced that with the practical reality on the ground. He basically said that a massive undertaking like local service delivery might actually be handled best by a strong, unified mayoral team, rather than a divided one pulling in totally different directions. Section 4. The dissenting opinion. Justice O'Regan's case for inclusion. Now, let's pivot to a powerful dissenting opinion that looked at the Constitution completely differently. Let's break down exactly how Justice O'Regan built her argument step by step. First, she points out that the mayor delegates real executive powers to this mayoral committee. Second, because they are exercising those powers, she reasoned that the committee is effectively exercising the executive authority of the municipal council itself. So, step 3, she concluded that the mayoral committee is fundamentally a committee of the council, and therefore, regardless of who appoints it, it's bound by Section 168 to include those minority voices.
To really get the deep historical context behind her dissent, she quoted Justice Kriegler, reminding us that the apartheid city integrated an urban economic logic that systematically favored white urban areas, sprawling black townships with hardly a tree in sight, even if only a short distance away, nestled amid trees and water and birds and tarred roads and paved sidewalks, we find white suburbia. It's a stark reminder. O'Regan felt deeply that local governments have a duty to heal these historical wounds through inclusive, deliberative democracy.
So for the dissent, local government absolutely has to overcome this legacy of deep racial and spatial inequality. Healing a divided city means bringing minority voices right into the executive process, not locking them out. O'Regan argued that efficiency just doesn't trump the constitutional mandate for fair representation. And what about that efficiency argument? Well, she pointed out that if committee members are being obstructive, the mayor always has the power to dismiss them. But they have to be given a seat at the table first.
And that brings us to the end of this explainer, but it leaves us with a pretty profound, timeless question to think about. In the pursuit of a better society, what matters more? Is it a government that is perfectly representative, making sure every single voice is heard at the highest levels? Or is it a government that is highly efficient, empowered to make swift decisions to deliver essential services to people? It's an incredibly delicate balancing act, and one we are honestly still navigating today. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack this, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.